So on a very blustery winter's day, I've decided to do a video on the modifications that I've done to my 2019 Honda CB500X. If you're a follower of the channel, you'll have seen the bike in various locations and with various fitting videos. So the bits that I'm going to show you now, almost everything has a video associated to it in the fitting and the use of that part. But really the video today is just to give you a walk around the bike and show you in detail everything that I've done to the bike. I'll talk about what has worked, what hasn't, or more importantly, if I were to start again, what I would fit and what I wouldn't. So taking that into account, let's just have a little look and see through the bike. I'm going to talk you through front to back and cover everything that I've done. So just to start with, at the very front end, you can see here I've got a Drift Ghost XL camera, and that's mounted onto the front mudguard with a mounting bracket you can see there. Now I do have mounting brackets elsewhere. On the helmet, it can be mounted up on the handlebars, you can mount it anywhere really. But at the moment, I've just got it mounted on there. On the front end, you can see that under the fairing, under the nose cone, we've got a set of crash bars, upper crash bars. And these are Hepor Becka, if you can see there. And they're in a matte grey colour, but they do come in black as well. They mount to the underneath of the nose cone and mount to an upper frame mounting bolt at the back. Very good quality, and I do use crash bar bags on both sides just for some extra carrying capacity. And whilst we're at the crash bars, you'll have noticed these little military mole bags, and this side is a first aid trauma kit. Basic trauma pack, and on the other side I have another one, a matching one, which is really just for some ancillary tools, multi-tool, and just whatever else I want to just throw in a little bag that's handy. So the Hepor Becka bars, absolutely brilliant. I wouldn't go anywhere on this bike without them, and very high quality. They've been on at least a couple of years, and they're holding up so well. Would I have them on another bike? That's a bit 50-50 really. I'm trying to go ultra light with my packing, so having a couple of crash bar bags, I have to decide whether that's a necessity, whether I need to use them or not. And if I didn't have them, well, maybe I would not bother putting them on again. But then again, gives really good protection to the fairing in the event of a fall. So, bit 50-50, but it would only be because I'm trying to lighten and travel lighter. That would be the only reason for not fitting them again. As you can see, there's a couple of ancillary driving lights on, and that's another good reason for having the crash bar, to mount these lights underneath. That begs another question with the lights. I use them as daytime running lights, but at night time they provide illumination which is beyond what the standard headlamp of this bike can provide. So one way or the other, I think I would have driving lights on, even if I didn't have crash bars. I would just form a bar under here to fit them. I also have a little stainless steel radiator protector in black over the radiator, and again that's just to protect it from getting damaged by stones getting thrown up. So I guess the next thing we come to really is the Bark Busters handguards. And these Bark Busters are well known, probably one of the best out there. There's probably a couple, 2 or 3 on the market, different manufacturers. I chose these because of reviews, and they have been absolutely superb. The good thing with these is that I have them in sort of winter mode where I've got the maximum capacity here. In summer, this part can be removed and actually can be stored within the body of the lower part. So you can actually adapt it as you ride along. Not so much riding along, but you can adapt it within the day if you wanted to. Equally, if it's very hot conditions, with 2 screws, the whole of the plastic cover comes off, and that leaves you just with this aluminium protection bar. And again, in the event of a fall, they offer absolutely superb protection to the handlebar controls and to the bike in some respects, because in a fall, they will hit the ground virtually first. While here, you can see that I've got a couple of shorty levers on. Well, at least you can't see the other one, but I do have a couple of short levers on. I wouldn't be without a shorty lever now. It allows for 1 finger operation, fully adjustable, and would not be without some form of shorty lever. Another little modification, the mirrors on these bikes can tend to be a little bit low down, so I actually fitted an R&G extension piece, which is this here. Very easy, very quick, and would not be without those extension pieces. It just puts the mirror visibility above your elbows. As we come round, we'll sort of look at the cockpit for now. As we come round, you can see that I've got a sat-nav fitted. Equally, you could fit a phone or anything to this bar. This bar here is standard with the Honda CB500X and the NX500, which is the updated version of this bike. You can use any bracket at all to fit accessories to this accessory bar, but I've chosen a Rally Raid one. I don't know whether you can see a picture of that. I think you should just be able to get that. So I've chosen the Rally Raid one, and that was down to the quality of the fitting and the stability. Again, through doing a little bit of research, and if I mounted anything to a future bike in the same position, I would not be without that Rally Raid mount. So again, sticking to the cockpit area, I love cockpit areas. Yeah, on the Honda CB500X, you have a hole here for a 12-volt socket. So it was an extra, but I actually bought and fitted the Honda 12-volt socket. Don't use it very often, but occasionally it comes in handy. However, I also drilled out another hole here to fit a voltmeter and USB socket. I'll just switch it on, you can see that. So it's a dual voltmeter and double USB socket, and you can see the voltage on my batteries at 12.6 while it sits here not running. That's very useful if you're getting to a point your battery's starting to weaken a little bit. Another simple modification was this here, and this is a hard plastic glasses case, and it's just designed to actually put on your belt as you're walking around, which is a little bit old-fashioned now. It fits there perfectly with a cable tie and some Velcro underneath, and it's just a very safe place to put my driving glasses. And if I'm leaving them overnight, or if I'm leaving them unattended, or the bike unattended, I can just simply turn that around and pop it back in again. And another accessory that I would not be without. Moving across, you can see that I've got a couple of RAM mounts. and this is to do with filming. So these are just ram mounts to do with filming, and obviously depending on whatever bike I would use in the future, I would decide at that point where I fitted those ram mounts. So there's one on either side, one there and one there. Another feature in the cockpit is the Oxford heated grips. Many of you will know these. This is with the remote controller, and whilst you can't see the grips themselves because I've got grip puppies on, that stops a little bit of the vibration, because the CB500X, especially motorway speeds, can be a little bit vibey, and that just helps a little bit. The Oxford heated grips I've had on other bikes. Would I have it on another bike? Well, yes and no. Yes, because Oxford heated grips are brilliant. Possibly no, because there's a new Oxford heated grip which does not use a remote controller. It actually just has a button on the actual handlebars themselves. So maybe I would fit one of those, or go for a dealer fitted product. Not so sure. But very, very good Oxford heated grips. Many of you will know about them. This is a little oil reservoir. You obviously fill it with your whatever oil you want to use, and you can use a variety of different things. And then you just turn it 1/4 turn every time you want about 2 or 3 minutes of oil to drip onto your chain. And that full container would last me a couple of weeks, just sparingly used, but it would last a couple of weeks. Would I fit it to another bike? 50-50. Not so sure, but it is a very good product, and I'd have to decide. It's just I may not want to have as much clutter on the bike if I was renewing what I was doing with the bike. So as we sort of move down the bike, I've got some aftermarket Footpegs, very, very wide, longer than standard, and if you're at all using it on any off-road riding, be it rough or just gravel, if you're going to be in a standing position, these are almost essential compared to the standard road going footrest that you get with this bike. These were original Rally Raid, bought second hand. They don't make them now, but there's plenty of aftermarket ones out there. These just work well for me, and would I use them again? If it was the same bike I was buying again, I would take these with me and put them onto the new bike. They're an essential piece of kit for my riding. Just behind this bag, I think you can see, is the adjuster for the suspension that I've fitted to the bike. Now, I haven't done a video on the suspension. I actually had it fitted. My Honda dealership fitted it for me because I didn't feel confident in fitting it. But it's a Rally Raid Level 2 suspension setup, which is on this bike is the rear spring, which has full adjustment from the adjuster knob, which is the gold part. And it's the suspension actually made by a company called Tractive, which is a Dutch company that make motocross suspension. So this is a very good pedigree, and Rally Raid in the UK is a very good pedigree. They've done a lot with Honda CB500X, and this suspension is what's fitted to this bike. It does lift the bike to the extent when you buy the suspension and fit the suspension, you have to put a new side stand on, which is longer to cope with the lifting of the bike slightly. It's only a slight lift, and it's very difficult to see the suspension because if you look down there, I've actually got a sock covering the suspension, so you can't really see it. You can't really see the suspension, but it's a beautiful piece of kit, and highly rate that suspension. If I were building this bike again, or a new version of this bike, I would definitely fit it with Rally Raid suspension. Part of the Rally Raid suspension with the Level 2 system is also new springs for the suspension at the front. So you get better rated progressive springs. Subsequent to this 2019 model, they've actually fitted Showa upside down forks. So there is a big improvement to the front of the bike, whereas the rear suspension on the standard bikes is still virtually the same, maybe slight modification, but virtually the same. And it's okay, it's fine, but when you load it up with your camping gear, you go 2-up, or you go off-road, the rally raid suspension makes a huge difference. Yeah, moving to the other side of the bike, this is a Reservoir where you can adjust both your high and low compression, so you can really fine-tune the dampening of the rear shock. Now, I've not had to adjust this from when it was set up, because it just works for me where it's been set. But if you wanted to fine-tune it, this is how you could do it. While we're on this side of the bike, the oil reservoir, I put a cover on to protect it. Would I fit that again? Not so sure, really. I mean, it offers some protection, but I think probably I wouldn't bother fitting that again. And on the engine case covers here, these are a plastic cover that goes over the engine case on both sides. Although if you noticed on the other side, it's off at the moment. These are from R&G. In the event of a crash, that's going to protect the engine case on both sides. These are made for race bikes and are designed to go skidding down a track, obviously wearing away, but not damaging the underneath, the actual engine. So, would I fit them again? Absolutely right, I would. Just a couple of little things, simple things. This is a battery charge lead, so that I can leave the battery on charge, especially during winter. But I can also take power off it to use for the pump, to pump the tyres up. So it's a bit of a dual purpose thing. And I have a separate little USB socket, which is permanently live, this one. Everything else is unswitched, so it'll when the ignition's off, it'll switch off. That's permanently live, so that when I can when I'm camping, I can actually charge the phone, charge anything on it, really. So would I fit one of these again? Absolutely would, as I would with obviously with the charging cable. Exhaust, I changed the exhaust for a slimmer and lighter one from Max Torque. Made in the UK, actually made not a million miles from where I live, to be honest. And you can see how dirty it is. I've never cleaned it apart from occasional wash. The guys, I watched the guys making this, and they fitted it for me. I can't remember the price, but there is a video on that, and it's worth having a little look at if you're into an aftermarket exhaust. Would I fit one of these again? Absolutely would. You might have noticed I've taken off the rear footrests, and although I've got a proper bracket for this, I've just left this temporary one on because it just served its purpose, did its job. These little D-rings that are dotted around both sides of the bike are just for strapping luggage down to. So when I'm carrying luggage, it gives me a couple of tie-down points. These are brilliant. I would use them again. Just while I'm at the rear of the bike, I'd like to show you something which is interesting. Obviously, you've got your standard rear light, which you can see here. And what I've done here is replace the original reflector with a aftermarket reflector, rear light and brake light. I have to say that out of everything, for I think it was about £6 for two. That's one of the best value modifications I've done. It just adds an extra level of security to the back of the bike in terms of light, and an extra brake light. And also in the UK, that is completely acceptable for MOT. Basically, as long as it still serves its purpose as a reflector, the fact it lights up makes no difference to the MOT. So really, really good, that one. So I guess next would be the racks that I've got on. You can see I've got what's called soft luggage racks, and they have these mole fittings. Very adaptable to use for a number of mountings. Not so much for hard luggage, but it's more for soft luggage. And also going with that, I've got the rear rack as well, which all bolts together, as you can see, quite nicely. A little bit agricultural, but a bit Land Rover-ish. But for a bike like this, this is a tool to do a job. I quite like it, actually. And also, it offers a good degree of protection. A piece of steel offers a good degree of protection in the event of it toppling over. I have a couple of soft luggage bags, which are horseshoe shaped, and this is what these racks are designed for, just to splay the luggage out a little bit. You can see from that angle there how it's angled, just to push it away from exhaust and bike. And the added benefit, it leaves a couple of gaps behind, which you could use for anything. I use them for storing things. And these are tool tubes, actual plant and tractor document holders. And I'll put links in, but a lot of you will know about these. They're commonly known as tool tubes because people put tools in them. And indeed, in this side, that's exactly what I've got in there, which is some basic tools, some gloves just to work on the bike, a roll of sticky tape, and some thin rubber gloves, again for just if it's anything dirty, oily, etc. And on the other side, I keep this one empty, but use it to put varying things in depending on what I'm doing. Even down to, on a day's ride out, just putting a little flask in there. So these racks are made by Rally Raid, and they make some really good quality gear that fits perfectly. Only thing I would say is that if you look, these have been fitted now for about 3 years, and I've had to powder coat them. In fact, I had to powder coat them within about 18 months because they'd all started to get rusty. In these areas here, it was rusty. Basically, it was just poor powder coating by Rally Raid. So these have been powder coated. They're holding up really well now that they've been refreshed. This rack is relatively new. It's a lot newer than the side racks. And it's holding up okay at the moment, but I suspect that's going to have to be re-powder coated as well at some stage. In fact, I'd almost guarantee that's going to have to be re-powder coated. And it's simply down to the fact that certainly at the time I bought these products, Rally Raid's powder coating wasn't that good. I mean, it may well have changed now, but if it's still the same, it's just poor quality powder coating. But would I have them again? Yes, I would, because it just makes the bike so much more usable. So the last thing that we're going to look at is the engine sump guard. And this is another Rally Raid product, because at the time I bought this, there was only two things available: the SW Motec aluminium sump guard, and the Rally Raid. I think there's more options available now. The Rally Raid is made out of steel, and it's taken a bashing because it's on the bottom of the bike. I've had this on rocks, so it has taken a bashing, a bit dinted, but it's done its job. It's protected the engine, it's protected the bike. It's got these little side pieces which also protect the bike in the event of a fall, and it has a little stainless steel cover that goes behind the exhaust to protect the oil filter. And actually, it's mounted to frame mounting bolts at the front on both sides, and then with a long bolt that goes through the tube, which would normally have the centre stand. So you can't have a centre stand if you have a Rally Raid sump guard, but it is the most substantial fitting because the impact is on frame mounts rather than mounted to engine points. Effectively, if it works out, the camera shot will show you the underneath of the rack. This rack is going to need repowder coating, but to be fair, it does get a lot of battering, and I think that it has done its job very, very well. The fact it needs powder coating is just simply down to wear and tear and abuse. So would I use the Rally Raid engine guard again? Yeah, probably would, to be honest. I don't do a lot of off-road. I did start doing some off-road, but the most off-road I do now is gravel tracks. So a lighter weight engine guard would work. But to be honest, anything more than lightweight use off-road, then I don't think there's anything to beat this, really. So one final thing, it's not really a modification other than different types of tyres that we use on our bikes. But these tyres are the Mitas EO7 Plus Enduro Trail tyres. And this is my second set. The first set, I did a review of them, a lifetime review of them. Every 1,000 miles, there was a review. And the first set, I changed at 11,000 miles. They'd have probably gone on for another couple of 1,000 miles. The back was getting quite low. The front still had a few thousand miles in it, I think. But when they start to misshape, they just start to feel a bit horrible. So 11,000 miles on the first set. These have now done, I think, about 5,000. Yeah, these have done about 5,000. So you can see they're wearing really well. And certainly on the Honda CB500X, the lighter off-roady bikes, not heavy duty maybe. They're a 60/40 tyre. Would I have these again? Well, these are the second set, and I can tell you that the next set of tyres I put on will be the Mitas EO7 Pluses. So guys, it's just a little video on the modifications to the 2019 Honda CB500X. All personal to me. You'd have your own ideas what you wanted to do, but this is set up almost perfect for me. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. It all helps to make these videos. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. Otherwise, do what you want. Thanks again for watching.